Yes, good evening. Let's try to finish. I'm uploading. Let's try to finish. Oh, my back. It's 8 p.m. Need a minute.
The United States and the Soviet Union later halted their programs. Definitions and limits are covered in Peaceful Nuclear Explosions Treaty of 1976. 108, 109. The Stalled Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty of 1996 would prohibit all nuclear explosions, regardless of whether they are for peaceful purposes or not. 110. History of development. In nuclear fission, the nucleus of a fissile atom, in this case, enriched uranium, absorbs a thermal neutron, becomes unstable and splits into two new atoms, releasing some energy and between 1 and 3 new neutrons, which can perpetuate the process. In the first decades of the 20th century, physics was revolutionized with developments in the understanding of the nature of atoms, including the discoveries in atomic theory by John Dalton. 111. Around the turn of the 20th century, it was discovered by Hans Geiger and Ernest Marston and then Ernest Rutherford, that atoms had a highly dense, very small, charged central core called an atomic nucleus. In 1898, Pierre and Marie Curie discovered Bakich-Blendy, an ore of uranium, contained a substance which they named radium that emitted large amounts of radiation. Ernest Rutherford and Frederick Soddy identified that atoms were breaking down and turning into different elements. Hopes were raised among scientists and laymen that the elements around us could contain tremendous amounts of unseen energy, waiting to be harnessed. In Paris in 1934, Irene and Frederick Joliot-Curie discovered that artificial radioactivity could be induced in stable elements by bombarding them with alpha particles. In Italy, Enrico Fermi reported similar results when bombarding uranium with neutrons. In December 1938, Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann reported that they had detected the element barium after bombarding uranium with neutrons. Lise Meitner and Otto Robert Frisk correctly interpreted these results as being due to the splitting of the uranium atom. Frisk confirmed this experimentally on January 13, 1939. 112. They gave the process the name fission because of its similarity to the splitting of a cell into two new cells. Even before it was published, news of Meitner's and Frisk's interpretation crossed the Atlantic. 113. In their second publication on nuclear fission in February of 1939, Hahn and Strassmann predicted the existence and liberation of additional neutrons during the fission process, opening up the possibility of a nuclear chain reaction. After learning about the German fission in 1939, Leo Szilard concluded that uranium would be the element which can realize his 1933 idea about nuclear chain reaction. 114. Uranium appears in nature primarily in two isotopes, uranium-238 and uranium-235. When the nucleus of uranium-235 absorbs a neutron, it undergoes nuclear fission, releasing energy and, on average, 2.5 neutrons. because uranium-235 releases more neutrons than it absorbs. It can support a chain reaction and so is described as fissile. Uranium-238, on the other hand, is not fissile as it does not normally undergo fission when it absorbs a neutron. By the start of the war in September 1939, many scientists likely to be persecuted by the Nazis had already escaped. Physicists on both sides were well aware of the possibility of utilizing nuclear fission as a weapon, but no one was quite sure how it could be engineered. In August 1939, concerned that Germany might. Leo Szilard, pictured in about 1960, invented the electron microscope nuclear chain reaction and patented the nuclear reactor of its own project to develop fission-based weapons. Albert Einstein signed a letter to U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt warning him of the threat. 115. Major General Leslie Groves and Robert Oppenheimer at the Trinity test site in 1945. Roosevelt responded by setting up the Uranium Committee under Lyman James Briggs, but, with little initial funding, $6,000, progress was slow. It was not until the U.S. entered the war in December 1941 that Washington decided to commit necessary resources to a top-secret high-priority bomb project. 116. Organized research first began in Britain and Canada as part of the Tube Alloys Project, the world's first nuclear weapons project. The Maud Committee was set up following the work of Frisk and Rudolph Piles, who calculated uranium-235's critical mass and found it to be much smaller than previously thought, which meant that a deliverable bomb should be possible. 117. In the February 1940 Frisk-Piles memorandum they stated that the energy liberated in the explosion of such a superbomb will, for an instant, produce a temperature comparable to that of the interior of the Sun. The blast from such an explosion would destroy life in a wide area. The size of this area is difficult to estimate, but it will probably cover the center of a big city. Edgar Sendia, a director of Shinkolobwe mine in the Congo, which produced by far the highest quality uranium ore in the world, had become aware of uranium's possible use in a bomb. In late 1940, fearing that he might be seized by the Germans, he shipped the mine's entire stockpile of ore to a warehouse in New York. 118. See also: Cobalt bomb, cosmic bomb, phrase, Cuban Missile Crisis, dirty bomb, list of nuclear weapons, NTH country experiment, nuclear blackout, nuclear bunker buster, nuclear weapons of the United Kingdom, nuclear weapons in popular culture, nuclear weapons of the United States. OPANAL, Agency for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons in Latin America and the Caribbean. 3 Non-Nuclear Principles of Japan. References. Notes. Explanatory notes, also known as an atom bomb, atomic bomb, nuclear bomb.